everyone, and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my new Necromancer only minions. It has been requested over and over and over again if I can recreate one of my older builds for Necromancer that only uses minions. There's no Chaos Bolts, there's no Dread Shade. We are using 5 minions. And I gotta tell you, I am unbelievably impressed with how well this build is going. If you've been part of the subathon, I've now been live for over 150 hours. We got only minions. The build you are about to see over 300 corruption. And 300 corruption on the new system is over 500 corruption on the old. So this build, not only is it easy, it is very, very easy play style. You still get a movement skill, you still get great damage, and it has almost no gear requirements. It's an awesome build, and I'm going to take you through it right now. Now, just so you're aware, gameplay for this build will be at the end of the video. I keep getting requests on this new format while I'm live to make sure that there is gameplay attached, and every build moving forward will have that gameplay. So let's start with the skills. Looking at Summon Skeletal Mage. We are taking this as a Fire Mage, and we are using this as a traversal skill. Now, normally when I am playing this, the first thing I will do is go left. So we're going down and then over to the left to take this as a traversal skill. We then make sure that we are only pyro, so we're only fire, and then we come down to get some crit chance and an extra mage, and then you come up here to boost their overall spell damage. So this is your skeleton mage. Now, if you want to more heavily lean into Ignite, which you could pull some points out of here and you can go this route. For me, I like having kind of a little more of the mix where you're doing spell damage and Ignite, but if you wanted to make that trade, you can. Moving over to Golem, and I probably should have mentioned, you will notice on the tags up here, fire, 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 and fire. This build also has perfect synergy for fire. Now on here for Golem, we are not currently using Aaron's Will, so we are going into one big Golem. And this is the first nodes you want to take if you are leveling. You then want to come to the right and grab your Fire Golem, then you want to come down and get Hunger. Now, if you're using the Aaron's Will version of this, which just means you are using My Unique Armor and 2 Hollow Fingers, Hunger is going to be better because you have 3 golems hitting instead of 1. So just know you're still going to get life leech, but you only have 1 golem. Moving over to Summon Volatile Zombie. The first thing you want to do is come up and snag these 2 points. This is going to give you your kill threshold. You then want to come down and you want to convert this into fire again, so it has perfect synergy with your gear across all of your skills. You then want to come to the left and get Armor Shred so that your zombies are not only exploding, doing fire damage, doing kill threshold, but they're also shredding armor. You're then going to come over here and get multiplicative damage for your zombies. And then your final couple points, if you have them, you just give them some movement speed and some more multiplicative damage. Going over to Flame Wraiths. We are going into permanent Wraiths. And you want to come down first and nab this tree. This is the node, Twin Spirits, which makes it so your Wraiths are permanent. And then you're just going to come around the edge here. You're going to go here, here, and then down. Hopefully my face isn't blocking it. Now, in order to get full Flame Wraiths, which means they're only Flame Wraiths, you will need 2 idols, and I will show you that during the gear section. Last skill is our skeletons. Now, I gotta say, skeletons in endgame, again, you're talking 500 corruption in the old system. I am fairly shocked how well they are doing. Yes, they are the first minion to die, but they do a ton of damage and they're pretty strong. I mean, you'll have to see for yourself. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. I first took this build into corruption 100 and we were doing so well. I mean, it might as well have been first act of the campaign. I had to jump to 300. First thing you want to do is move to the left and you want to remove warriors. So you only have archers. You then want to come down and get Fire Arrow again. So fire synergizes, and multi-shot for Fire Arrow got a huge buff where it got 24% multiplicative damage now. So you got a big buff for 1.0 to your Fire Arrow. And then you want to snag your skeleton, come up here, snag your skeleton, and then take this bottom row. which is going to be most of your damage multiplicative right here, up to 80%. All right, so those are the skills, all 5 minions. Moving over to the passives. Now in the base tree, this is the standard tree that I always use. Intelligence, Vitality, Minion Cast Speed, and then Minion Armor to help keep them alive. On Lich, we're using Mana Regen and Intelligence. On Warlock, we're using the brand new skill Chaos Flames. This is a brand new passive point. Fire Damage and Ignite. And this applies to minions. And then the other 74 points are going into your Necromancer tree. Now you want Risen Army for damage and attack speed. You want to take Curse Bloods to unlock Aegis Fall, which is going to give you more armor shred. You're going to come over here, take Blood Armor, Life, and an extra skeleton. We are now using this for more skeletons. You're going to come over here, Tyrant, get an extra skeleton. And then you're going to work your way around the tree and just nab all of these different nodes. Now, I want you to keep in mind, okay, if you go Aaron's Will, you cannot use skeletons, okay? And I probably should have mentioned that when I was talking about it in the Golem tree. If you decide to use my body armor and use more golems, you can, but in that instance, you would switch out skeletons for Dreadshade. And then it's a different build. You're no longer using only minions. That is the passives. Moving over to the gear. Now we're going to start with the blessings. I'm currently using Void Resistance, Boost to Mana, Crit Avoidance, Endurance %, and Physical Resistance. Idols. Adorned, and this is going to give us Flame Wraith. You can get up to 57%, so if you have 2 of them, you always have 100%. And you want one of your idols to have Mark of Death on hit. Very important. You can actually get it on this idol, your large, or on your adorned. One of your idols needs to have Mark of Death on hit, and only one in the roll range does not matter. And then just stack as much life as possible. Now, uniques that I am using for this build, I am using the Dragonflame Edict Staff. This is for Fire Necro, and it's going to give you Ignite for your fire. This is a common drop from the Emperor of Corpses in the Reign of Dragons timeline. Super easy to find. And if you're in Merchant's Guild, you could literally go buy one for nothing. They're practically free. The gloves we are using are Raven's Rise. This is going to give us +2 to our minion spells, which is pretty much all of them, with the exception of Skeleton. And it's going to make it so your minions take less damage and boost your resistances so they stay alive longer. Now, everything else you will see on here is an exalted item, and I will take you through it. Oracle Amulet. Helmet. This is going to boost your minion spell. Armor. On armor, you can get Summon Skeleton and Summon Wraith. On the helmet, you can get Summon Bone Golem. Relic. Summon Skeletal Mage. Boots. New base belt, Spider Silk. Gives you some resistances. And then your 2 rings. This ring I took Endurance Threshold as the 4th. On this one, I took Crit Avoidance. Very standard setup. Now, I will say, this is one of the few builds where I actually spec most of the time into minion health as the tier 6 over minion damage. Again, if you're pushing 300 corruption, your minions will die. So the more minion health you have, you know, the longer they will stay alive. So that is the gear. You saw the idols. You saw the blessings. And on here, all you're doing, you are making zombies and teleporting with your army. Making zombies and teleporting with your army. That is the entire build. That is the entire build. And I just realized I forgot to do one thing. So I'm going to do this live while recording. You actually can't trigger Veins of Malice here. Okay? So you actually, those 5 points, I apologize, you put them right here. And then that final point under minion health. I'm sorry. You can't trigger Veins of Malice in this build. Okay? Put it there, and the extra point there. But that is the build. Only minions. 300 corruption. Easiest playstyle you will ever have. That's all I've got. Enjoy some gameplay. I'm out.